we live in this very challenging moment with social media, obviously, but these environments, especially as a modern creator, that you kind of most like there might be exceptions, I'm sure there are, but 99% of creators now, if you want to make a living or even just share your work, period, you are spending a lot of time in these environments, social media platforms, whatever it is, just online. And True North feels kind of it's a very treacherous thing to try and find while scrolling Twitter or while on YouTube. You know, like you're just getting socialized by all these different ideas all the time from all these different sources. And so unplugging to find that, it feels almost like you have to, like, it feels like a mandatory part of finding what you should or shouldn't be working on. But that's a really hard step to take right now. It feels especially difficult with social media. I mean, and I'm sure, I feel like this book is extra timely because I feel like, you know, this mimetic desire, it feels very much to me like a human nature problem. Like, it's probably been around since forever, but I think social media almost like takes it to this exponential level of where you're just, I don't know. How does social media and mimetic desire work together? I guess that's a good way for me to frame that. And it feels just like it's almost entirely built on the idea that you're just looking at all these different people's lives, and you're kind of reflecting it back on yours, and it's like a filtering system for how you see yourself. Is that how it works, you think?
Yeah, and it's not just that we're looking at their lives, we're looking at usually a highly curated life. Right. You know, and projecting all kinds of things and making assumptions about that person's life that are definitely not true in some way, right? Not fully true, at least. One way to understand the power of social media through a Girardian lens is understanding that all of the people on social media are models of desire in some way. Some of them are more important to us than others, but they all are models of desire. And this goes deeper than just the sort of dopamine hit or like sort of the neurological explanation for why social media could be unhealthy, you know, and there's been a lot of ink spilled on that. A lot of people have talked about it. What's that documentary came out during the pandemic? I forget the name of it.
Social Dilemma. Yeah. With Tristan.
The social dilemma. I don't think that tells the full story. I think there's a deeper layer to all this, and I think that's mimetic desire. And the realization I had about what social media has done to the world is this. So there's a basic distinction in mimetic theory about the two different kinds of models that people have. There's just really two different kinds of models. One is an external model of desire. These are people that are outside of our world, that we don't have a possibility to really come into contact with or have any conflict with, right? So, you know, for me, I don't know, like Kanye is like an external model of desire, right? Like he's not going to interact with me.
Right.
He's totally outside of my world. Like, it's almost like he's otherworldly. It's like a world that I can't really relate to. But it used to be that like most people were external models of desire. Like they weren't accessible to me at all times. They weren't, they were, their universe of desire was sort of confined to a certain sort of time and space and, you know, the friends that they had and the world that they were in. The other kind of model is an internal mediator or model of desire. And those are the people that are inside of my world. They're the people that I feel more similar to. Like I feel like we have something in common. And those are the people that always make actually more powerful models to us than the external models of desire, because we can relate to them. They're a little bit more like us. So that creates a bit of a dangerous situation, because what social media has done is made almost everybody, with the exception of, you know, like a Kanye or somebody like that, an internal mediator of desire. Like it's like taking all of the desires in the world and putting them on the head of a pin, which we're also on. Like they're all right here. They're all in my phone. and everybody seems very similar to everybody else.
Right.
I find sort of, social media has become like an eliminator of difference in a certain sense, where like everybody's sort of like competing with everybody else as an internal model of desire. So Twitter is a great example for this, right? Like anybody on Twitter can just like compete on a take. Something happens and somebody has a take, and then there are like reply guys that get in there that have like a little nuanced thing on that take, and then it's like takes all the way down. Right. And we can all like sort of like get into the same little space, whereas before this never would have happened, and like sort of everybody's like looking at everybody else and dissecting things down to the word, incredibly unhealthy. But Twitter has sort of made us models to each other, even models for like the kinds of like opinions that we have on things. And there's all kinds of intelligence signaling and things like that. And this is all mimetic. All right. I mean, this is all sort of, we're even just the desire to do that is a mimetic desire. Like there are people, I promise you, that had no desire to become geopolitical pundits until just the last 2 years, when they saw other people doing it and decided, hey, I could play that game too. I've got some pretty smart ideas about what might be happening here. Just the very idea that we're doing that is a product of mimetic desire.